So, ever heard of Joe Doucette and the Wind Wall? Well, I hadn't until my friend Dennis Kramer pointed it out to me, and I loved the look of it. Now, I'm not going to write to Joe and whine at him and tell him to show me exactly how to make it or prove it works before I spend my valuable time doing it. I loved the look of it, and I thought I'd give it a go because I've got a load of this stuff. This is A4, and it's the board that's used for making hardback books, and I've got loads of it. So I cut that into a load of 14 by 14 centimetres squares, because Joe's arrangement is basically a whole load like that on a stick in a big row, and he sticks them in the wind, and there's loads of these sticks together. I figured if I made them out this board I could always paint it, but it would be an easy way of doing something that would replicate what Joe had done, so I could see for myself if this thing worked or not. Now, I'm going to make 6 sticks, and they're 2.4 meters long. These are 14 centimeters, so clearly there's a lot of these to make. I've got about 200. Now, making those was easy because I've got a guillotine, so I just guillotined them off. But I need to mark them in the center, 7 centimeters, where I'm going to glue them to the stick. And whenever you're going to do something like that, then a jig is really the way to go. So I made a quick jig. You see, this is just a baseline, 7 centimeters away. I've driven a couple of nails, put a rod against it, and suddenly I've got myself a jig where I can draw 7 centimeter centers. So just pick up a whole load, slide them in the jig, and we're off. And I've got a couple of hundred of these to do. Okay, it didn't take long to mark them all up, and I've laid out 16 of them. And every second one gets glued onto the stick, and for that I'm going to use some Gorilla Glue, and the stick I'm using is a bit of 9mm dowel. So I'll start here, and then every second one. On the second one you start here. So the first one you start here, second one you start here, third one you start there, fourth one you start there, and so on, alternating them. But it's every second one that you glue. Okay, so I've glued them on, taped them down, and this is what we've got. Now we're about halfway there because we also have to put the ones facing that direction. But I'm not sure if this is essential or not, but I do like the idea of it. I've got some expanding foam, and I'm going to inject expanding foam into this little gap here to stiffen them up and make them a bit more waterproof by the time I paint them. So let's inject some foam in there. Okay, so when we put all those bits on and it's all had a chance to dry, this is what you'll get. It's about 2.4 meters long, and there's 8 of those little blades at 14 by 14. And obviously what we now need to do is put the center blades on. Now those blades in the gaps that are missing actually go at 90 degrees. So they're at 90 degrees there. Like that. We need to get those on. To get those on, we do the same thing. Line of glue here, line of glue there. Wrap it round, bit of tape, and then to hold it, a staple in the centre. And we need to do that for the other 8. And there they are, all on. So now what we do really is leave those to dry, then put the foam in, and we've finished the blades apart from one little adaptation. Looked a bit like a tank trap, doesn't it? Anyway, I'll get the other ones done, and we'll get them filled. Okay, there's my 6 blades all made. Now we have to put these in a mount. To put them in a mount, the ends of the rods, remember I used this 9mm dowel all the way through. Well, it's got to go through a bearing, and that bearing is obviously going to be a wear point. So what I want it to do is have a metal piece going through there. So what I'm going to do, I feel like I'm using what I'm going to do a lot. What I'm going to do is take this bit of broom handle, chop it into 100mm sections, drill all the way through with an 8mm, drill all the way through, halfway through with a 9mm, then the 9mm section will go on the dowel rod, and I've got some 8mm bar, and I'll put the 8mm bar on the other side, and that will make the bit that will go into the bearing and that I can connect to the actual generator. Now, if you've seen that Joe Doucette thing, you'll see that these things move in harmony. And they move in harmony because they've been tied together. And I'm going to tie them together probably with a connecting rod where every second one is set at 90 degrees apart. That'll become clear when I actually make the frame. But I'm going to do something like that. And of course the other side of this, that connecting rod can go onto the other bit of steel at the other side. So in order to finish these blades, all I have to do now is make those wooden plugs. Okay, and that's our Joe Doucette wind wall rotating blade done. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Now, when I was making these, I thought I'd actually missed an opportunity, to be honest, because clearly these blades could be made from a whole range of things. You might want to injection mold them, blow mold them, resin cast them, but I was thinking I could have made this whole thing out of paper. I could have rolled up some sticks, I could have wrapped up some paper, and the whole thing could be paper, because I obviously used dowels and card. Anyway, perhaps in the next version we'll do an entirely paper version. But these are now finished and ready to go. So what we need to do obviously is build a frame for them, but we've done quite a lot in this video, so that will actually be in the next video. So please remember to catch that one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.